A change to a law has ended a decades-old practice. Meanwhile, a proposal would ensure locals get hired for taxpayer-funded construction projects. It looks like the deer hunting opener is staying where it is for now. Also, here's who got the most snow. I'm Claudia Dimuro, and you're listening to Today in PA. For decades, if someone in Pennsylvania died without family or a will, their estate would go entirely to the state, reports the Gettysburg Times. But with Act 50 of 2025, that practice is no more. This act, which went into effect on Friday, has updated the state's intestate succession law to make sure that, if no heirs can be identified, someone's estate goes to an endowed community fund, specifically at a foundation serving the county where the deceased lived. This act received a unanimous vote and was signed into law in November. Said Ralph Serpy, leader of the Pennsylvania Community Foundation Association's Pennsylvania Intestate Legislation Action Team, one of the groups behind the bill, quote, "This is a truly historic moment. Pennsylvania is now the only state in the nation to ensure that the intestate assets are kept local, endowed, and charitable through community foundations." According to State Senator Devlin Robinson, publicly funded construction projects tend to hire workers from other states, reports the Center Square. Which is an issue, he says, because instead of paying taxes for local schools and services, these workers just bring their earnings back to where they came from. Which is why Robinson introduced legislation earlier this month that would establish local hiring requirements for such projects. At least half of workers on state and local projects costing $500,000 or more should be Pennsylvania residents or neighboring counties, the proposal says. If they can't hire that amount of locals, contractors can apply for a waiver. However, there are those saying that, while the idea of hiring local workers makes sense, processing waivers from employers who don't meet that 50% threshold could really stretch the State Department of Labor and Industry thin. And contractors are worried that this bill could distance projects from other states, ultimately harming the industry. Further information regarding this motion remains pending as of the recording of this episode. It looks like the deer hunting season opener is staying where it is, states Lehigh Valley Live. For now, anyway, according to officials. In an update to a story this podcast has covered previously, state hunting regulators cast a preliminary vote over the weekend that would keep the Saturday after Thanksgiving as the opening day, and to not move it to the Saturday before, as proposed. This proposal was brought forward in the first place as a way to rejuvenate the season. License sales have dipped from over 1 million in 2005 to just over 837,000 in 2025. A final vote has been scheduled for April. Some parts of Pennsylvania saw more than 20 inches of snow over the weekend, says PennLive. New Bethlehem, for example, got 23 inches. Clintonville, 22. Clymer, West Mayfield, all 20 plus. And while other places didn't get nearly as much, they did see record-breaking snowfall. Harrisburg, for one, recorded 14 inches, which broke its previously held one-day snowfall of 5.4 inches record from 1988. Pittsburgh and Philadelphia, too, broke one-day snowfall records with 11.2 inches and 9.3 inches, respectively. That wraps up today's episode. A very law-heavy episode, I must say. For even more Pennsylvania news and beyond, pay a visit to PennLive.com. Also, please don't forget to rate this podcast wherever you may listen to it and to share it around. Thanks in advance, and as always, thanks for listening. I'm Claudia Dimuro, and tomorrow's another day of Today in PA.